My cat just fully ran and attacked my feet. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Maya in Her Kitchen, aka Sustainability Sundays. So last week, I sort of introduced y'all to Sustainability Sundays, and I went over some things that I was shocked to learn were sustainable. Today, I'm gonna let y'all know some things that I was shocked to learn weren't sustainable. Now, this first one might sound kind of obvious, but at the same time, when you start thinking about sustainability, you start thinking outside the box, thinking, oh, this is sustainable because XYZ. I figured Amazon must be sustainable because they don't have all these extra storefronts, they don't have all the cars driving to one store and then driving home after. Yeah, no, it couldn't be less accurate. Amazon is not sustainable at all. Amazon has so many factories and warehouses, which granted, yes, big box stores and chains have all the different warehouses and then ship things to their stores as well. But with Amazon, you have so many people ordering. You have so many delivery drivers. You have so much exhaust being put out by each of the Amazon delivery vehicles that it doesn't make up for how many cars aren't going to the brick and mortar store. It just doesn't make up for it. My mind, I'm like, oh, it must make up for it because, in this house, there's 4 people living here, multifamily house. If each of the 4 people individually drove to the store, think about 4 cars worth of exhausts versus 1 truck dropping off multiple packages. In my mind, that's more sustainable. When you actually look into it, the amount of delivery cars, I can order things, have 2 packages from Amazon come in the same day, delivered 2 different times from 2 different trucks. That isn't sustainable at all. Also, my apologies, I'm a little bit congested. There's a sinus infection going around my day job right now, so if I caught it, so be it. This one really messed me up, but a lot of the times, recycling is not sustainable. A lot of things will have symbols on them saying they're recyclable. Great, you toss it into your recycling, you think you did your part, you're taking part in sustainability, awesome. Yeah, no. A lot of the time, those symbols mean it can be recycled through certain companies. You can't just toss it in your normal recycling. Or what really gets to me, say that you're recycling a container that used to have food in it that is recyclable. If that container is not cleaned properly and there's still any traces of food in there, the entire recycling truck can then end up being scrapped because the stuff in there ruined the entire batch of recycling. And then you have an entire recycling truck that nothing in there can be recycled anymore. It's horrible. There has to be better practices for recycling. There has to be. But alas, it is so easy to ruin an entire truck's worth of recycling that I'd say a good portion of the time recycling isn't sustainable because it's not done correctly. And then there's the other problem. You can do everything correctly for recycling, but your neighbor doesn't. And then same truck is ruined. Genuinely, I think that people need to be educated on the proper way to recycle things to live more sustainably. Because the way that things are going, recycling isn't being done right. And it's not being sustainable, and it's causing more waste, and it's causing more issues. People need to be educated on the right ways to recycle things. And that's not shade to people that don't know. Because unless you do research, you won't know that. That's something that should just be taught to people. That should be in school, is the proper way to recycle. That should be one of the first things that we learn. But it's not. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. Wholesale clubs. Think Costco. Think if you're up in New England like me, we have BJ's here. Think Sam's Club. They're not always sustainable. Now don't get me wrong, your girl loves her Costco, your girl loves going to BJ's, and I buy my toilet paper from there, for example. We'll buy cleaning products from there. I know I've gotten giant packs of Scrub Daddies that have lasted me over a year from there, and I'm still only on my first Scrub Daddy, so it's gonna last me forever. But I live in a 2-person home. We have the first floor that we could share things with her down there. I've gone with my friend Kelsey and we've, bought things and split it. But just the 2 of us, if we're just shopping for our household, for our apartment, a lot of the things that you could buy there are not sustainable at all. I don't eat meat. Buying a giant package of meat won't be beneficial for us because I'm vegan. Even if I wasn't vegan, we don't have a giant freezer. We have just like the classic standard 90s kind of fridge with like the little freezer box on top. We don't have like a second giant freezer in the garage to store extra meat in. I say that because growing up I had one of those, but I don't have one of those. If you go and you buy all this food from the wholesale clubs and you don't have a big family that's gonna go through all of it, it's more of a waste than it is a help. Don't get me wrong, again, things like toilet paper, great. A plus, buy all my toilet paper from there. Like, I don't buy bottled water because it's not a sustainable option. I have my water filter in the fridge, like my little Brita pitcher. I don't buy bottles of water. If I did, it would be great. I don't. We buy pretty much household necessities like dishwashing liquid, toilet paper. We don't really buy paper towels much, but when we do, we get them from there. But we haven't even gone through half of the pack that we got before we moved in here. So all in all, for a lot of people, genuinely, wholesale clubs are not sustainable. Don't get me wrong, if, we had kids, if we had like a family of 5, I'm sure that would be great for us. But for individuals or couples, wholesale clubs aren't a very sustainable option because it creates more waste. You buy the big thing of produce thinking I'll go through all this, and you don't because it's 1 or 2 people eating it. It creates more waste. It should have been obvious, but it really wasn't. Keurig and Nespresso pods. Why would I think that they're sustainable? Because of the fact that you're now not using different disposable coffee filters. You're not making an entire pot of coffee when you're not going to drink it and wasting the coffee grounds for that. You know that you're only going to make 1 cup, so you use a one-time use pod. Now, for my Keurig, I did get a reusable Keurig pod. But I also don't use my Keurig much. I use my Nespresso a lot more. And unfortunately, Nespresso doesn't have reusable pods unless you really want to cheat the system and use a knife to cut open an old pod and put new foil over it, but it's violating the warranty. Don't do it. It might be more sustainable to do it, but it voids the warranty in your Nespresso, so if anything goes wrong, it's your fault, so. But I bring all my Nespresso pods to be recycled. I drop them off at Crate and Barrel in their little recycling bag. Everything's great. Even when you're recycling your pods, or if you empty out the coffee grounds into your plants, because coffee grounds are great for plants, it's still creating more waste. Yes, it's recyclable, but once you drop it off to be recycled, you don't know what's actually happening with it. And Keurig especially. If you buy Keurig pods and you're reusing them, or if you have a job where you have the Keurig at work, A, they're not recycling those pods. Don't believe them if they say they are. But B, how are you supposed to recycle Keurig pods? Because I personally don't know. Again, I know that Nespresso has, since everything's done on their app now, you can bring it to a Nespresso store or you can bring it to certain other stores. Keurig doesn't tell you anything like that. It's just not a smart idea long term. Yes, you're not using all those individual coffee filters, but throwing out a coffee filter a day, I feel like isn't as wasteful as all the plastic from the pods. Paper plates are not recyclable. I don't care how convenient they are. I don't care if they're paper. They're not recyclable. They're coated with a plastic. Plus, you've had food on them. And as we've discussed, food ruins the entire truck for recycling. Paper plates are not recyclable. Don't fool yourself into believing that they are. Same thing goes for plastic cups. Plastic cups are not recyclable. They might say that they are. However, unless you feel like cleaning out the cups yourself before you toss them in the recycling, it's gonna ruin the whole truck of recycling. Again, this isn't saying don't recycle these items. This is saying learn the proper way to recycle them and then recycle them. But if you're thinking just, oh hey, I can just toss these in the recycling, this is great, this is more convenient for me, because as I've said before, sustainability is not available for everybody. Lifestyle, cost, that is a factor. I'm really lucky that I used to work in a store that had housewares. and I was able to get cheap dishes, cheap cups, because we would clearance things out. Not everybody has that opportunity, so it might be easier for people to get paper plates and then recycle them. But if you're not recycling them properly, they're ruining everything. Same thing for plastic cups. I have some really nice glasses that I got, but again, I worked in a store where I got them for a deep, deep discount. If you don't have that opportunity and you can go to the dollar store and pick up plastic cups, that's great. There's no shade about that. I understand not everyone has every opportunity. But if you're thinking, oh, I can recycle these now that I've used them and it's helping the environment, unless you're cleaning them out first, it's just gonna ruin the truck of recycling. This isn't shade for using them. This is shade for the country not teaching people how to recycle. It's not on the person who doesn't know how to recycle. It's on the people running the country who aren't teaching people. Did you know that hand washing your dishes is not at all sustainable? Not compared to a dishwasher, at least. You go through significantly more water when you are hand washing your dishes. Plus, when you're hand washing your dishes, it doesn't get as hot and disinfecty as the dishwasher does. And yes, I know disinfecty isn't a word, but I'm making it a word. We as humans can't handle our hands being in water as hot as the dishwasher gets. It will actually burn us. Therefore, the dishwasher uses less water and uses hotter water to do a significantly more effective job at cleaning than hand washing your dishes does. I know, shocking, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna save water and save electricity by washing them by hand. Yeah, no, the dishwasher uses way less water. Same thing goes for washing your clothes. Honestly, shocking, but like hand washing your clothes uses more water than the washing machine does. At the end of the day, no one's perfect when it comes to sustainability. If you think that doing something will help you be more sustainable and then you find out that it's actually way less sustainable, then there's no judgment towards you. That's just oh, you learned this. That's what it was for me. I've been slowly learning how to live a more and more sustainable life. I'm never going to be 100% sustainable. I'm never going to be, oh, I don't use toilet paper. I have a bidet and I have a rag that I wash. I'm never going to be that person. I'm not opposed to a bidet, but I'm never going to be the type of person that doesn't use toilet paper, that doesn't create any waste in my life. I will never be that person. I'm acknowledging I'm a human. I can be lazy sometimes. And sometimes I like the easier option. It's the small, realistic sustainability changes that make the big difference overall. All right, my friends, that is all for today. I'm sure that there's plenty more, but these were all the ones that I just thought of off the top of my head. I'm sure that you probably have some things that you thought were sustainable and found out weren't. Let me know down below what yours are, because I'm gonna be 100% honest. The dishes one especially really blew my mind. Let me know what you were shocked to find out in your life isn't actually sustainable. If you like the Sustainability Sundays, let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys want to learn more about when it comes to sustainability. If you're not into the sustainability content, don't worry. I'm still gonna have other content on my channel for my regular Wednesday uploads. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I don't know, but I've been told the world outside is oh so cold. So cold.